What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the dungeon here at 2GTV. I wanted to do a little sort of like behind the scenes, just a quick like rundown of what the week's been like for me. I want to do more of these more often, kind of put them in the place of gaps when I don't have anything releasing. So far, we're doing these streams of me and a guy, Fedora Kong, aka Uncle Creepy, coming through, just talking about everything going on. He's a big connect on comic books and card shops, things like that. So it's cool to kind of rack his brain on whatever he's got going on. And then I'm also working on another segment that I tried last year with a buddy called The Watch. We basically watch movies kind of in the vein of Mystery Science Theater 3000. And then I have some original content coming out soon. And then also I kind of want to do just some of these, just like, hey, this is the recording space. This is where I do pretty much all the things that I do. And where it all gets kind of edited and chopped up, and when I have my free time, I also game here and chill. So welcome to the lair, the dungeon, the I don't know yet where the control center. There we go, the control room of 2GTV. Let's see, where do I want to start? What I actually the premise of this video was basically to talk about Demon Slayer. I saw the movie recently. I wanted to share my thoughts on it and kind of just my general temperature on anime as of right now. I have some good things to say about this Infinity Castle movie, and then I have some honest critiques. As a film person, I always tell folks, folks might know me from working in the anime space, but I honestly am a film fan first. Like, I started doing films, watching movies, doing my own skits, things like that, writing for comedy, all that sort of stuff. And then I always liked anime, just in secret. It was like, yeah, I watch Ghibli films, and I know about Death Note and Bleach, and I would watch, Adult Swim late at night and Toonami. And then the community just sort of blew up. The anime community just skyrocketed in the last 5 to 10 years, and it's been fun sort of like walking around and seeing people with anime shirts on and seeing people into anime. So it's been really, really good. I guess like soaking up that energy of, hey, I can be myself here. Especially in black and brown areas. Like, we just kind of didn't tell people that we were into it, and now we are, and it's awesome. That being said, I always look at anime through a sort of a film critic's, film buff lens, and that always helps me find some of the things that I really enjoy in anime, and some of the things that I also am like, hey, this isn't for me, but I also enjoy it. As I'm getting older, I realize, and this all comes into play when I'm talking about Demon Slayer. I've come to realize that I outgrew shonen a long time ago, like a very long time ago, but I still enjoy it. I think I outgrew shonen 15, 16, which is which is like the age that they want to catch you, because I've always enjoyed darker animes, I've enjoyed darker stories, and I've enjoyed anime movies a lot more than certain series. So going into this film, going into this Infinity Castle saga movie, out of the gate, I knew I was going to see some cool action, and I saw really good action. I also know that whether you're a fan of Demon Slayer or not, we can all agree it's not a very complex story. It never was. I don't even think it was intended to be. It's pretty straightforward. It's kind of linear with a couple, branches about this person, that person, but it's a pretty through line story. And even the people who read it and knew that it's finished are like, yeah, it's not the most compelling story in the world, but what carries it is its like beautiful visual animation and its overall like emotional tone. Because you can have a basic story, you can have a basic love story, you can have a basic tragedy story, revenge story, whatever, but if the scenes in it carry like heavy emotion, or they display emotion very well, you get credit for that. And I think that Demon Slayer does that very well, paired with it's just bar none animation. It's just these fight sequences and how beautiful the sword swings are. All that stuff is bar none. So that's why I have to commend it. And going into this movie, that's what I got. I got a lot of action fights, really cool sequences. The castle looked amazing. Um, it was just a very visually compelling story, like presentation. It was very visibly pleasing. My main critique, and this is honestly, it's the only critique, but it's really the most important. It's the reason why I'm like I'm kind of I don't know how to feel about the movie. Is that it's not a movie. I don't think this was a movie. I think that this was 7 episodes that they put together. And they gave us without openings, without closings, without any gaps, without you going to the bathroom, without you checking your phone in between. It just gave you all the episodes of the season all in one. And the reason why I think that is because the pacing in this movie was garbage. It was just not good pacing. For a movie standard, for a show, if this was the series, if they had dropped this as an 8 episode small release series, I'd be like, this is fantastic. But when you're sitting in a black box, like I said, I'm a movie person. When you're sitting in a black box for 2.5 hours, mind you, this was a 2.5 hour movie. 2.5 hours, there's certain things that as an editor, when you're doing movies, you need to like figure out how to swing energy back and forth. And this didn't do it. And the reason why I think it didn't do it is because it wasn't really a movie. It was just the season in movie form. Um, Not any spoilers, not to having like huge spoilers, but there were 3 main fights. So you're gonna get fights. There were 3 main fights in this thing, and I started to realize what I was watching basically during the first fight, and then as the first fight ended. Basically what I realized was that the fight was like 20 minutes straight. Like it wasn't like in a movie when you have a compelling thing, even in like older shonens like Bleach, you would have fights and then it would jump back and forth from fight to fight. But then you would have this thing where it was like if you're watching that episode of Dragon Ball and they're fighting just to fight for 20 minutes. That's what you're watching. That's what the episode is. That's what it felt like. And it almost like it kept going and it used too much steam, and then anytime there was nothing happening, it vacuumed closed, and I just started losing the momentum. Mind you, if that episode happened and then we got the closer and then I got to check my phone like I was binging the show, and then we got the opener and then it continued, it would have been fine. But what it felt like was just kind of endless. Like and that's due to poor pacing, because you can watch a 2 hour movie, 3 hour movie, you can watch a long film and it can compel you because of how it's cut across and edited. Um I really wish that they would have been able to cross cut all the fights. But another reason why I believe that this was a season sort of put into movie form was that each of the fights technically had to go in order. You couldn't cut across them. This was not like oh, these are all happening at the same time. And the reason why I figured that out is because there was announcements about each fight after the fight left. No, not a major spoiler. It's just they had the crows, those crows that give you announcements. They would announce certain things about the fight. Then the next fight would happen. Then the next fight would happen. So there was really even no way that they could edit it out to make it seem like it was all happening at the same time, because how they wrote it, it all had to go in one. Which, like I said, it proves my point further. I think that let's say you take out the opening and the closer, you have maybe what 15 to 18 minutes of episode. So what they did was they just basically took those 18 minutes chunks and they pieced them all together and we got to see them all. Now that's cool. It's really cool. But as a moviegoer, as someone who I have the movie pass, you know what I mean, with my theater. I shout out AMC, shout out Gang Gang, Nicole Kidman, shout out all of them. Movies of magic, all that stuff. Uh when I go to a movie theater, it's a different experience than me sitting on my couch binging anime, which I've done before. And what it felt like was that I needed pauses in this thing. And mind you, now all the things that I've said does not deter from what it was. It was visually beautiful. There was so many like heartwarming scenes. Um Freaking Channing Tatum did a voice in the film. I thought that was dope. Like it there was and the action sequences were so vividly like produced and drawn, and the way that they meshed the animation with the CGI, so good. Like it was really good. It was just not what I wanted to sit in a black box and watch because I got fatigued. I literally was like nodding off at certain points, and that could just be me. That could literally be me. If you came in there and you were just glued and you knew what you were watching, or you got into the groove of it, um good for you, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And either way, what I have to say doesn't matter because one, I already paid money to see it. Two, everyone else did, and it's doing so well, and I'm proud of that for anime films, because anime films, as I've talked about for years, deserve way more credit than they actually get. But um just how I felt about it in that watch, it was bittersweet. But onto the sweet. um you should definitely check it out, either in theaters, pay the money, go to the theaters, because like I said, anime movies need it. But then I would suggest, after you see it, whether you like it, love it, hate it, watch it again when it hits Crunchyroll or when it hits Netflix or whatever app it comes on. Watch it, and then maybe every 20 to 30 minutes, get up, take a walk, let it breathe. And then I think, at least for me, that's what I plan to do. I think it's gonna be better. And then hopefully it'll, like, you might feel the same way about it. But that's pretty much my thoughts on it. Let me know if you agree, let me know if you disagree. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff, man, because we're trying to build something really, really cool here at 2GTV. Hopefully I'll have a new video coming out soon. I might put this one out like pretty quickly. I might just try to like edit it real quick and give you guys something to watch. But you know what? I can actually talk about, and I might actually do this on the stream with Fedora, but I'm thinking about just kind of airing it out now, just because I'm feeling I'm feeling very Bill Burr in my kitchen talking to myself kind of energy. Um, I really I really want to talk more about anime, and I think I always have um over the years, but to be honest, I've said it before. I think I outgrew shonen a long time ago, but unfortunately, shonen is the popular button to push when you want to build a community online, when you want to talk about stuff. Like, everybody's got to you got to talk about Demon Slayer, you got to talk about My Hero Academia, you got to talk about Black Clover, you got to talk about One Piece, you got to talk about Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, all these things. And you got to keep talking about them, keep talking about them, because those are like buzzwords. You say Naruto versus whoever, you say Luffy sucks, you say Luffy's great, you're gonna get a buzz from somebody no matter what. Um, but as far as talking about it specifically long term, or analyzing it, it kind of gets a little exhausting, because the tropes of shonen, while are fun and exciting, they're pretty basic and they're very general. And as someone I have a film background, and I love anime, and I've loved anime and Japanese writers for a very long time. I love Japanese horror a lot. But it it gets a little tired talking about the same ideas about power systems and all this stuff, because the tropes in shonen, as I said, I've just watched for so long. And while watching shonen as a kid, I was also watching stuff that I probably shouldn't have watched as a kid. I think the first anime I ever watched was Evangelion. I am a big fan of the Ghibli films, even the dark ones like Grave of the Fireflies and Princess Mononoke. I grew up watching like darker shonens like what is it, Full Metal Alchemist. So you know, I I think I turned a page with anime for a while. I was watching Paranoia Agent like at like 13, 14. So while I was enjoying watching shonen, I mean, I remember I was watching Cell Saga as it came out. I was watching Bleach as it was coming out. I watched Naruto and Shippuden as it was coming out. So I did enjoy these things, but I was simultaneously watching that and analyzing films, going to film school, writing essays on Scorsese and stuff. So I always wanted a serious tone in a lot of my media, and I honestly even preferred it. But I would just sit and enjoy uh shonen as it came. But as I'm getting older, I'm like, man, I don't want to talk about My Hero Academia on the internet. I would love to talk about 91 Days. I would love to talk about Parasite Maxim. I would love to talk more about, I could talk days about, Ghost in the Shell's influence on the Matrix, or Akira, or, like I said, Grave of the Fireflies in general. I like, it's the one movie, if I need a good cry, I put that movie on. So these are things I would love to talk about. I want to talk about Gangsta, that like one season. Gangsta's a crazy anime. They only did one season because the studio had to foreclose, and shit was fire. Fire. One of the main characters was deaf, and I was like, I had never seen a deaf anime character before in my life. Like, this was crazy. But um and not even just like the serious dark stuff. There are some slice of lives that I've been put onto that are fantastic. Some drama, some mystery, some horror anime. um I wish there was as much hype about those things as there was about Black Clover, Naruto, the shonens, whatever big three you want to create for your generation. um I don't know, I kind of want to go more in depth about, I even want to go more in depth about not so much what I'm watching, but why I'm watching it. I want to talk about the writing choices of these mangaka. I want to talk about how storylines influence each other, because a lot of, even in the shonen category, a lot of these guys pay homage to like people that came before them, and then they're obviously referencing films from the Western Hemisphere. So there's just so many things you could talk about when it comes to anime, even in the shonen category, and I just want to do that more. I would love to do more of that on this channel. I plan to, I think like last fall I was talking about it, but I don't know. I wanna do it again. I'd love to do it again soon. So, um, if anything, keep an eye out for introspective stuff like that. If this entertained you in any way, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, ask me questions. I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I do have knowledge, and I'm also open for open discussion. I'm big on like sharing ideas on what you think about something, because that's, to me, that's better. To me, that's better than, oh, this anime is good, this anime is bad. How about like, what do you think this anime could have done better, or why do you think this anime is so popular? Just like layers deep questions, as opposed to like, who's the better fighter, like, and I want some of that too, don't get me wrong. I'll listen, I'll give you my best of in the rings too, but um, I plan to go a couple layers deeper with this channel and with my discussion as it pertains to anime. And then I'm also going to get into films. I'm going to get into all the things we've been talking about: cards, collectibles. The grading system has got me like locked in for real on, like, I might try to make some money investments, but um keep it locked. Watch out for what we're doing. Like, comment, subscribe, notifications, put it all on. And just be on the lookout for what we're doing here at 2GTV.